You have put yourselves in a position where your consciousness must now become aware of the probable past and the probable futures in order to form for yourselves a sane, fulfilling, and creative present. Ego consciousness must now be familiarized with its roots, or it will turn into something else. You are in a position where your private experience of yourself does not correlate with what you are told by your societies, churches, sciences, archaeologies, and other disciplines. Man's unconscious knowledge is becoming more and more consciously apparent. This will be done under and with the direction of an enlightened and expanding egotistical awareness that can organize the hereto neglected knowledge, or it will be done at the expense of the reasoning intellect, leading to a rebirth of superstition, chaos, and the unnecessary war between reason and intuitive knowledge. When at this point now of mankind's development, his emerging unconscious knowledge is denied by his institutions, then it will rise up despite those institutions and annihilate them. Cult after cult will emerge, each unrestrained by the use of reason, because reason will have denied the existence of rampant unconscious knowledge, disorganized and filling only its own ancient force. If this happens, all kinds of old and new religious denominations will war, and all kinds of ideologies will surface. This need not take place, for the conscious mind, basically now, having learned to focus in physical terms, is meant to expand, to accept unconscious intuitions and knowledge, and to organize these deeply creative principles into cultural patterns. The great emotion of love has been, thus far, poorly used. Yet it represents even the biological impetus of your being. Your religions, in a large measure, have taught you to hate yourselves and physical existence. They have told you to love God, but rarely taught you to experience the gods in yourselves. Now, in one way or another, religions have always followed, again, the development of your consciousness, and so they have served its purposes and yours. And they have always reflected, though distorted, those greater inner realities of your being. In historic terms, as you understand them, the progression of religion gives you a perfect picture of the development of human consciousness, the differences of peoples and nations, and the growth of the ideas of the individual. There is nothing wrong with the concept of an egotistically based individual being. I am not suggesting, therefore, that your individuality is something to be lost, thrown aside, or superseded, nor am I saying that it should be buried, submerged, or dissolved in a super self. I am not suggesting that its edges be blurred by powerful unconscious. I am saying that the individual self must become consciously aware of far more reality, that it must allow its recognition of identity to expand so that it includes previously unconscious knowledge. To do this, you must understand, again, that man must move beyond the concepts of one God, one self, one body, one world, as these ideas are currently understood. You are now poised in your terms upon a threshold from which the race can go many ways. There are species of consciousness. Your species is in a time of change. There are potentials within the body's mechanisms, in your terms, not as yet used. Developed, they can immeasurably enrich the race and bring it to levels of spiritual and psychic and physical fulfillment. If some changes are not made, the race as such will not endure. This does not mean that you will not endure, or that in another probability the race will not endure, but that in your terms of a historical sequence, the race will not endure. Speaking now in those historical terms that you understand, let me say that there was no single line development from animal to man, but parallel lines in which, for centuries, animal-man and man-animal coexisted cooperatively. In the same way now, unknown amongst you, many species of what you may call probable man dwell in embryo form. And if we don't get a handle on this upsurge of consciousness, it will destroy humanity as we know it. And you can call it a reset or whatever you want, because that's just the means to another end, and another end, and another end, and another end after that. The point is that being a human being is only a temporary condition. And you are more than a human being. But until you take advantage of your dual nature and enter your consciousness willingly, you will remain stuck here in these cycles, and you will live and die and reset again and again and again, just like this earth. So it's you who has to build your own starship with the tools of your body, your mind, and your life. And I can show you how to do that. But only if you're ready.